So there's a couple common things you hear about the third shot drop all the time. Number one, that it's the most important shot in pickleball, and number two, that it's the most difficult shot in pickleball. Now I can get on board with the first one. It's probably the most important shot, but the most difficult, I don't think so. So here in part 3 of our transition video series, the focus is going to be on the third shot drop. So in this video, I'm going to show you the technique you want to focus on in the drop. We're going to talk about when you should be using the drop, and then I'm going to show you some of the best ways to practice your drop so we can get good at it. Also, don't forget, if something's not quite right in your pickleball game, there's nothing that's going to fix it quicker than a brand new paddle. Selkirk's got some of the best stuff on the market, so if you are looking for a new paddle, check out what they got, and don't forget to use my code, which are listed in the links below. So first, let's talk some technique on the drop. I'm not going to get super technical, but what I want to do is give you more of a conceptual idea of what I'm thinking about when I'm trying to hit a drop. Ultimately, the third shot drop is just an extension of your dink. So if you can dink, you can drop. And really, we want to keep the mindset and the focus that this is still just a feel shot. Really, what we're doing at the heart of it, we're using our eyes to see a target, and then we're feeling in our hands how we're going to get the ball to that target. People do this naturally. So I do this all the time in my lessons where I'll ask one of my students to underhand toss a ball into a basket. And almost every time they're making it or getting close on the very first try. And all that's happening there is they're looking at the target with their eyes, and then they're feeling in their hands how to put it in there. Now, specifically what we're doing is we're focused on two things. We're focused on power level, which is how hard you're gonna throw it and or hit it. And we're focused on trajectory, which is basically how high or low that ball is gonna end up going. Okay, so here's a few examples of power level and trajectory, correct and incorrect. So first, this would be correct power and trajectory. In, okay? Correct trajectory, but too much power. Goes over the target. Correct power, but too much height, too much trajectory. Okay? Not enough power, doesn't get there. So we've really got to start focusing on feel. So when you're hitting and when we're practicing, we're taking in that information. We're looking at what a shot just did. Was it too high? Was it too far? Did it travel past my target? And then we're making adjustments on the fly every single time. So here's what this is going to look like when I'm actually using my paddle and practicing with the ball machine. First of all, a couple basics that I'm going to focus on. No backswing, okay, so keep that paddle in front. Try to get that paddle settled and paused. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Try to get that paddle settled before contact so you've got full control of what you're doing. We're going to try to get really low. The key to a good third shot drop is getting below the ball so you can give it that nice arc up and over the net. So we're going to quiet body, quiet paddle, get below the ball. From that, I'm just gonna feel, hit, adjust. I'm gonna keep doing that over and over again. I'm gonna feel what I'm doing to the ball. I'm gonna watch what happens. I'm gonna assess if it's too high, too low, too much power, too little power, and then I'm gonna adjust and do it all over again. And I'm gonna keep doing that until I feel confident with it.
Okay, so here's me getting some reps in with my Spinshot Ball Machine. If you're looking for a good practice partner that never misses and feeds you the ball exactly how you want it every time, check out the Spinshot Ball Machine. I think it's the best on the market right now. Okay, so let's take a look at some technique specifics. The first thing I want you to note is I'm taking hardly any backswing. My paddle is not getting behind my body at all, and I'm judging how hard I want to hit it based on how big my follow through is. So if you watch the paddle, you can see it's nice and settled, it's nice and calm, there's not a lot of swing right before contact, it's just kind of waiting for the ball. So now in these next few, I'm going to start purposely kind of messing up. I'm going to hit some too high, some too soft, some with too much power that travel past the target, just so you can see how those look and maybe how the swings look a little bit different. If I notice that I screw up, maybe hit one with too much power, my goal is always to analyze and adjust. So I analyze the previous shot that I just hit, and I try to adjust the very next one. So I always make it an intention to never have the same miss twice in a row, or even worse, 3-4 times in a row. If I'm missing past the target with too much power 3, 4, 5 times in a row, then I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing and I'm not adjusting well. We want to be rooted in good technique. Like we talked about earlier, get low, no backswing, get that paddle nice and quiet. We want to be rooted in those things that help us get our body under control. But ultimately our goal when we're doing reps like this is to create a connection between our eyes and our hands. Let our eyes see and visualize what we want to happen, and then trust your hands to make it happen.
Okay, so now that we've all mastered that, we've practiced a bunch, we've got the feel, we've got a pretty good handle on feeling good about dropping that ball in the kitchen. Let's figure out when we're actually going to use it. So there's a couple considerations when we're weighing, am I going to drop or am I going to drive? First one, we talked about this a bit in the last video, in the drive video. If my serve gets me a short return and I'm moving into this ball, I'm dropping this almost every time. This is like my opponent's giving me a freebie, okay? I can come in here and make this drop 99% of the time and then get to the kitchen line behind it. So I don't want to waste that opportunity doing any other stupid shot, driving, trying anything crazy. If you get a short ball and you're pretty well inside the baseline, take the drop, get to the line. That's our whole goal with this anyway. That is going to be one of your easiest paths to the kitchen line. It's a great serve, short return, take the drop and get in there. Now also, like we talked about last video, if we get that ball that's a little bit deeper and I'm set up, I'm balanced, that's when I might think about a drive, okay? But if we're back here in the back of the court and we're in trouble, that drop, we're reaching, we're stretched out, we're falling back, that's when we're gonna use the drop again. This time though, we're gonna aim a little higher over the net. We're gonna give it a little more height because now we're kind of just trying to bail ourselves out of trouble. So if I'm here, going a little bit higher, and now it's gonna take a couple shots. It might take 2 or 3 shots, but that's gonna buy me some time to try to work through that transition area and find an opportunity for an easier shot. So my basic philosophy, drop when it's short, drop when you're in trouble or off balance. If you've got a good drive, use it when your opponent is late to the kitchen line or when you're trying to set up an easier 5th shot drop.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out the next part in the series. Also, I'd appreciate so much if you would like, comment, or especially subscribe. It helps me out so much to grow this channel and keep making this content. Thanks. See you next time.